It's late May of 2013, and Grid 2, arcade racing sequel to Grid, has just been released. It's an arcade racing game oriented around progressing through a global series of races, and showing off your talents to earn sponsorships and new vehicles. Grid 2 was very successful, and as such it gathered quite the fan base, and there are many videos out there talking about Grid 2 in its entirety. But that's not what I want to do today. There's one specific game mode that I want to touch up on that Grid does like no other racing game really does. The Eliminator. The rules to Eliminator are very simple. It's not lap-oriented racing, but based on a timer. A timer starts shortly after all the cars are moving down the track, and if you're at the end of the pack when that timer hits 0, you're out. It tends to be a long, dragged-out, more brutal version of Grid's typical racing style. This game mode has debuted in other simcade and arcade racing games before, but the way that Grid 2 does it is a little bit different. First and foremost, the AI. In Eliminator, the AI have changed. They're no longer your opponents, but your enemies. Things are going to get aggressive as they start throwing elbows around a little bit more than they're typically allowed to. Contact is not just allowed in Eliminator, but encouraged, and when each passing second knocks whoever's in last out of the race, things get to be a bit of a desperate struggle. The AI aren't just more aggressive, but in fact more reckless. Some of the moves they execute on the track will be even harmful to themselves if performed wrong. Against the already heart-wrenching timer you have at the top of your screen, you also have to keep an eye out for oncoming cars that may come cascading out of nowhere from an accident that occurs from their own causes, not just yours. This actually brings me to my next point: suspense. Unlike the typical racing game modes, suspense isn't quite the same in Eliminator as it would be in any other racing mode. There's not that final adrenaline rush of racing to the last line on the final lap. It happens every 20 seconds. This effect truly exerts itself on you, and you can actually see it as you throw yourself into corners way too fast, slamming into the back wall knowing that you're just trying to keep ahead of the car behind you. It's no longer your typical boring racing game mode. It becomes a game of chicken with yourself as you see how long you can hold off on slamming the brake pedal as you fly into every corner. The background beeping of the timer acts as a reminder of the fact that you don't have time later to correct for these mistakes, and you have to push all you've got right now. This self-inflicted psychological effect is just amplified by the aforementioned AI trying to block your passes and trackside accidents being narrowly avoided. Conclusively, to this day I've still not found a game that gives you that real adrenaline rush like Grid 2 does, most notably its Eliminator game mode that I share so many fond memories with. Everything comes together and turns this arcade racing game into a truly cinematic experience.